how to choose the right architect, what to look for, and what should concern you. If you're choosing an architect right now, I want to be very clear about something. This decision has little to do with style and everything to do with judgment. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, and I've seen beautiful homes fail. Not because of bad design, because bad decisions were made early on. Before you hire anyone, including me, I want to give you a way to evaluate this decision properly, because architecture, your home, is not something you want to redo. Most people think architects design houses, and yes, that's part of it. But the real job of an architect is decision making. My role is to help you make the right decisions in the right order so you don't pay for them later. Architecture is not a drawing service. It's a risk management and value creation discipline. Your architect determines what problems you'll have or which ones you'll never even see. Most homeowners don't know how to evaluate an architect, and how would they? So they rely on portfolio, referrals, and pricing. None of those protect you when things get complex. This will. Point 1, where they start. The first thing to pay attention to is where the architect starts. Do they want to begin drawing immediately, or do they slow the process down and test feasibility? Zoning, code, structure, site constraints. Anyone can draw. Very few people are willing to tell you what shouldn't be drawn. So a good question to ask any architect is, what needs to be confirmed before we start designing? If someone is confident in saying you can do whatever you want without seeing the site and doing their due diligence, that confidence is borrowed, not earned. Point 2, how they price their work. Once you know how they start, the next thing to pay attention to is how they price their work. Are they selling time, or are they taking responsibility? Hourly billing feels flexible, but it quietly creates the wrong incentives. If somebody bills by the hour, prolonged decision-making increases the fees. Indecision gets rewarded. Clarity gets punished. A good question to ask is, what are you accountable for if things change or need to be redone? And the warning sign here is this. If they can't clearly explain what they're accountable for, that accountability will land on you. Point 3, their relationship with no. N-O. This next one is subtle, but it's one of the most important. An experienced architect is not there to say yes to everything you want. They're there to protect you from decisions that don't serve you, even if they sound exciting. Restraint is a form of experience. A great question to ask is, what do clients often want that you advise against? And here's the warning sign. If someone never pushes back, they're not leading. Point 4, how they control scope. Most budget overruns don't come from one big mistake. They come from dozens of small decisions that were never framed properly. Weak ones let scope shift and call it flexibility. Those are very different things. A smart question to ask is, how do you prevent scope creep once construction begins? And the warning sign is, if the process feels informal early on, it won't feel controlled later. Point 5, permit strategy. This is where a lot of projects quietly go sideways. Permitting is not paperwork, it's strategy. How a project is positioned with the city will affect timelines, revisions, and stress. A good question to ask is, how do you approach permitting when there are multiple scopes and future phases? And here's a warning sign. If permitting sounds administrative, it will usually be painful. Point 6, who's actually involved? Delegation isn't the issue. Disappearing is. Senior judgment matters most at key decision points, not just the beginning. So ask, when are you personally involved versus your team? And the warning sign, if involvement sounds vague, expect dilution. Point 7, how they handle risk. Real confidence includes risk. If everything sounds straightforward, be cautious. Experience doesn't eliminate risk, it anticipates it. A good question to ask is, what are the risks in a project like mine? And the warning sign, if risks aren't named early, you'll discover them later. Point 8, construction reality. Drawings don't build houses. Your architect should be thinking about how something will actually get built, not just approved. Ask, how do you stay involved once construction begins? Warning sign, if construction feels like somebody else's problem, it will become yours. Point 9, behavior under complexity. This last one is hard to describe, but easy to feel. Notice how someone behaves when things get complicated. Do they rush to reassure you, or do they slow the process down? Calm under complexity isn't personality. Warning sign, if reassurance comes faster than analysis, be careful. Speed feels good at the beginning of the project. Clarity feels good at the end. The right architect optimizes for the end. If you use this lens, the right choice becomes obvious. And if you don't, the consequences tend to show up later. Cost, stress, and regret. I'm not here to convince you to hire me. Make sure the personalities are in line with yours. This is going to be a process. You're going to be working with this person 2 to maybe 3 years. It's very important that you feel comfortable expressing your opinions and respected and taken care of in this fun, creative, and can be a stressful process. So the personality is a must. Like I always say, clarity first, design second.